Welcome to the Zen Podcast.
I'm Zen.
I'm Roman.
And I'm Pablo.
All right, so let's get into it. Obviously, if you're not watching on YouTube, you should be watching the clips. But we are wearing suits. So
we're suited.
We're suited up,
and we are here looking like the Mexican Bachelors.
Sir,
it's a good show. I don't know why you guys are
I didn't know
giving me stuff for it,
podcast,
bro. But yeah, every Monday I'll be watching that. Yes, bro, every Monday.
Get the hell out of here, man.
We've had this conversation, bro.
Yeah, and I made fun of you all over the group chat about this conversation because
it's a good show, bro. You get some teas. It's like trash reality at its peak. I love it.
Dude, trash reality is probably one of the best genres of TV in general. Yeah. Like, I don't know if there's truly a better system than trash reality.
So did trash reality finally figure out that black people existed or what?
Recently, yeah. I think what happened was when the protests and the riots happened, like they found out that there's actually people, like they saw them on TV for the first time and they said, you know what, that really doesn't look bad for our cast. Like they saw them on the TV and said, you know what, we ain't never looked at it from that angle. You know what, we need to do some restructuring.
All right, so we're getting canceled this early in the show, huh?
How do you think the audition, what do you think the name list on the auditions look like?
Yo, if they were legitimately looking for black people, that's the thing that gets on my nerves a little bit about that kind of stuff, is that it seems like they do that only to okay. I think that there definitely needs to be inclusion in everything.
Yes,
and everything. But I also think it should also be like the best person for the job, all in all the way through. And in the past, I think they were just choosing like people that they liked or friends or people in their circle.
And those people happen to be white.
But no, what I'm saying is sometimes I think I get a little upset when people try to diversify too much in exchange for just like what's good. You know what I mean? Like not finding the best person for the job, but just finding the most person.
That it's like all right, we got a Mexican person hired. Leave us alone.
Yeah. But I think...
And it's always like the same Mexican person.
A prime example is Jake from State Farm.
Yo, they done switched up on Jake real quick. They swapped him out.
Jake.
I like the new Jake.
I like the new Jake too, but the old Jake was like,
I like the new Jake, but 100% you could see that they finally said, you know what? This is the person we should have gone with in the beginning. But I honestly feel like they had a big debate in the office of, can we have a black Jake? A Jake that's black? Like, think about that.
Do you think that was the debate?
I honestly think that was a big thing in the beginning. I think they named the character before they cast it. And so when they named it, they just assumed,
of course they named it. That was the basis of the idea. It's Jake from State Farm.
I don't think they found a person and then said, all right, we'll name this person Jake. I think the name came before everything else.
I think so too. I mean, I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Of the entire situation. Yeah, Jake from State Farm.
Now that we're
with that being said, free my boy Jared from Subway.
Whoa.
That's
free Palestine, free TK.
If you're gonna free
you're free TK and I can't free Jared.
I was kidding. I was kidding.
If y'all are gonna free Jared and free TK, then we're gonna free Ghislaine. That's what it is.
Yo, but when are we gonna? Can we hold on? As we're getting into this thing. When are we gonna finally let my boy Joe Exotic out?
Yo, I love that, man, because like he got ready for the pardon and the pardon never came. Like that's hilarious.
He had hair and makeup at the jail. He had hair and makeup at the jail. He had a limousine pull up. To the jail, and then he didn't get the pardon.
Yeah.
Jeez, dude, that sucks.
It's wild.
He had his victory lap ready, and then the victory never came.
Like you just see, like he's probably in there waiting. I wonder if he's in the same jail. I like to assume everyone's in the same jail for the sake of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like they're just like he's just sitting there, and
Kodak, come on.
Yeah, Mr. Black, Kodak. Okay.
Mr. Black.
And then he pulls up, and they're like, "Excuse me, Mr. Wayne Little," and then they pull Little Wayne out.
Yeah.
And then Miss Maxwell Ghislaine, you see her coming out. Oh, wait. Never mind. Go back. And then they were like,
dude, it's like,
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, I think we got everyone.
Yeah, it's
I think we got everyone.
You know what I imagine? It's like being in middle school and being in like the pickup line, like when your parents are for car riders, where they would call out your name, and then Cuss never got picked up, bro.
It sucks.
It's like Canadians at the free clinic, and it's like because it's like they go through the speaker system and tell you if you have AIDS or not, and they're like number 7, no, and then he's like he's number 8, and he's waiting, and he's like no, and they're like number 8, come speak to us in the back, please, and like. Fuck! I thought it was home free.
Now, with that all being said, do we even think, for one, I mean, I don't, other than for entertainment purposes and because it would just be a great ending to like the presidential run of bullshit that we had to go through
from 2024.
to see him get out, to see Joe Exotic get out. I don't think there's a good basis for him getting out, though. I mean, like,
no.
I'm gonna
like
be
animal abuse, animal like mistreatment, and then like attempted murder, conspiracy to murder someone.
Yeah,
right?
he was not
like that's a lot to try to like justify getting away with.
It's crazy
in the sense
because
of this was an unjust system.
Nobody in that show is a genuine good person. Like
no,
even that lady or whatever, her name like
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin, yeah, I forgot her name. So Carol Baskin, like she basically like has people working for her for free. And then, like, she puts herself to be this like good person.
She basically makes it like
not.
it's the same thing as everyone else, but she propped it as a nonprofit, so it looks better.
Exactly.
Jeez, dude.
But it's the same.
But it's the same thing. If not, I think hers is worse because her cats were like mega fat, bro. Like they didn't look healthy.
Eating that. Her husband, of course, they're gonna be fat.
Yeah.
If you munching on them limbs.
Yo, when she said that thing about like the tuna or whatever. Where she's like, cats will, like, if you wanted to eat someone, like, make sure to put tuna oil, like, on them or something like that. And it's like, who?
Why did you know that specifically?
Yeah, who knows
See, here's
that?
the kind of shit that makes me, like, are you, okay, and it's the same way that I felt like OJ would do.
Right.
Where it's like, everyone knows you did it. And it's like, if I did it, she's like, I would never do that. But if I did feed my husband to tigers, I
this
would
is
put
how I
some tuna oil on there.
Yeah.
Made sure they lap that shit right up. It's wild that they could just kind of be out here saying this.
Literally giving.
And we're all kind of like, I mean, the way the legal system's set up, we can't technically like.
It's like we're kind of just like because
and she took the bag from him too. That's
as
crazy.
Humans, we like drama, and it's like it's the same thing. It's like you just compared it to the OJ trials, and it's like the same thing. It's like we know he did it, but we're like, how's he gonna get away with this one?
It's honestly okay.
This one, you know,
it's the truest form of why we like reality TV.
Trash TV at its finest.
When you see that, you're like looking at that, and you're like, how the fuck is gonna end? Because a lot of the times, the villain's more interesting. You kind of want to see the villain get away because in every movie you've ever seen, that's not what happens. The villain always gets caught and he gets put away.
And that's kind of why
you can see these villainous characters like a 6ix9ine come out and do everything that they're not supposed to do and then still be able to like, you know,
bro, I love those 6ix9ine memes. I hate 6ix9ine, but I love the memes where he was just like snitching on everyone.
Yo, that was the funniest thing was like Martha Stewart.
That's kind of why okay, rest in peace. But that's kind of why MF Doom worked.
Yeah.
He was the villain.
He was the villain.
You know what he would do sometimes?
He wouldn't go to the shows, right?
He wouldn't go to the shows. He was supposed to perform at the Adult Swim Festival.
And if the bag didn't look right, he wouldn't go.
Yeah. And he was supposed to perform at the Adult Swim Festival. Everybody was super excited, like, fuck, MF Doom's gonna perform. And you know who ended up wearing the mask and performing?
Who?
Hannibal Buress.
Did he actually? Because I had heard that. I did hear that there was one time where like people didn't know who he was so much so that like he wasn't even the one performing. He could have someone else. Yeah. So do you think Hannibal Buress has seen what he looks like IRL?
Yeah.
Probably.
Does anyone really know what he looks like? Because didn't he have a career before?
He had a career before,
He had a career, yeah.
So I think there's only pictures of what he did look like then, not what he
would have.
But he's also aged.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
you could see what he looked like as a younger person, but not what he would have looked like
now.
Yeah.
That's wild, right?
And he was famous in like his early 20s before, and then he like took a really long hiatus, and then after that he came back better than ever, and nobody knows what he looks like.
Yeah,
and
that's really wild because it's like to be able to keep that kind of mystique. Mystery and mystique for so
successfully
long and be able to like even have like your legacy at the end, you having died
no one
Halloween,
knows. And no one knows
until your wife finally goes and
makes it public.
But when she feels like it's right, like when she was like, "This is when he would have won."
dude.
It.
See that's I love that. That was so amazing because she got to deal with it. She got to grieve, and I'm thinking about someone like Kobe's wife who like found out through TMZ.
Through TMZ, like that's fucked.
Crazy. Yeah.
I also just want to shout out while we're in front of a mic talking about RIPs. Larry King, man.
Hey, yeah, dude.
Dude, that was wild to see. Just kind of like,
I mean, he was a dinosaur. Like we all knew it was happening.
Yeah, but that brings up a good point.
He revolutionized what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
he did.
You know, in all the different types of people that he would interview and being able to like get personal and get them to open up is wild to like be able to get someone to trust you on that level and to just make someone feel comfortable enough to just be like, oh yeah, in front of a microphone, be like, oh yeah, I mean. Go into whatever it is. You know, went from presidents to murderers to, you know, celebrities.
One of the most difficult interviews for him, which is so funny, Eric Andre. Because Eric Andre's a piece of shit, dude. He was
time to deliver a pizza ball.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
And Larry King was asking him, so he's like celebrity crush, and he's like Larry King, and he's like, what are your fantasies, Larry King? And he just got like everything he kept asking him that would involve like answering a person. And he's like, Larry King. And he was just like, fucking shit. And you could tell Larry King was getting annoyed. And he usually doesn't try to express that. But when you have someone as wild and like doesn't stop as Eric Andre,
it's weird though. It's cool. I like that.
But
it's
Eric Andre behaved on Hot Ones.
It was the two extremes, actually.
But if you watch the Hot Ones, Eric Andre, he like behaved.
No, he didn't. He broke a plate on his head.
But that's because they asked him to.
It's like theatrics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of times where like I'll see Eric Andre more recently as he's been like, you know, pushing the special that he had done last year or whatever.
Right.
And I've seen him like on interviews and stuff. He behaves a lot in certain like situations. But
he calculates it.
And I think
really
when he's
person.
supposed to, I think when he's supposed to like behave, that's when he kind of goes a little wild. And it's kind of like, oh, you know what? Like, oh, Larry King, this is supposed to be important. This is supposed to mean something. This is supposed to be like revolutionary. All right, here's where I'm going to act up. And then I think certain things that he might respect artistically and stuff like that, he's like, I'm not going to fuck up what y'all got going on.
You know, he went to Berkeley and studied the upright bass.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
He's like
an extremely intelligent person, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, it is wild.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, he's just an idiot.
But he does do a lot of shit that you're just like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It is weird to see it all. I'm curious to see about when that film comes out that like he's supposed to be having been worked on like this sort of, I guess, sketch comedy or skit or something like that. Movie that apparently he had been trying to work on for years. And it was all working out, and then the pandemic came and swept it off. So that's going to be interesting to see. But I do want to like pause for a second, and I want to get into some actual topics for the week. Well, let's address while we're suited, because what it is to be real is we're not normal everyday people anymore.
Nope.
And people have to understand that we are now stock traders.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay. Yep. We are now business moguls.
Yep.
Okay. We're the new Gary Vee. Financial experts.
Yep.
Yeah.
New Jordan Belfort, the Mexican Jordan Belfort.
Yes.
The Mexican
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah. The Mexican what's his name?
Chupacabra of Wall Street.
Exactly. That's
so
us.
We are full blown professionals now.
Yeah.
So thanks to the power of Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Robin the Hood.
We talked about this last night.
Yes. So let's get into basically the GameStop stock shooting up. You know, I had my stock in since, you know, I had been early playing PS2 games. So, you know, I believed in the company early on.
Yeah. I had my stock before Robinhood was a thing.
Yeah, you know, I had to I
came out the womb with GameStop stock.
Like I had to call GameStop and say, "Hey, yo, can I get some stock?" Like I was, you know what I mean, stocked. But Can you get into a little bit of the what was really happening behind the scenes?
The
technicality.
Go ahead,
what
Adam
short
Smith.
means.
Oh my god,
Our economist here.
No, don't put that on me.
Yes, we have an economist here. We have a trained professional in the room.
No.
Knows all about it.
No.
Go ahead and give it to
So
him.
basically, what happened was, to put the big picture into something small. So you have all these hedge fund dudes, and they're
What's a hedge fund for starters?
okay. So a hedge fund is basically a group of investors, and they put all this money together, and they have people to run it, and they're gonna make investments in the stock market, buy stocks, dividends. I mean, stocks, bonds, what have you. They're going to do all these things to basically make their investors money.
Right.
So they run the fund. Collectively, all the money gets to however much you put in. This is how much you made, blah, 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 so forth.
Right.
So these professional investors are looking at GameStop, and they're saying, well, this company has been on the downturn for some time now. It hasn't made money in 2 years. People can actually download video games. You don't really have to go to a store to download video games. If you want to sell your old Xbox 360, you don't have to go get ripped off. You can sell it on OfferUp for probably some more money.
Yeah.
Right.
So they started shorting the stock, meaning that they were gonna basically, this stock's worthless now. We're gonna get rid of it.
Well, the way that I understood that short trading stock thing was the way that it was explained to me was let's just say you buy a stock, you borrow a stock. So you borrow a stock from somebody, and that stock's worth $10.
Exactly.
So you borrowed this one stock, you sell it immediately at the price that it was going for. So you sell it at $10. You're betting that the stock's going to fall like it's been doing historically.
Yeah.
So then it drops down to $7 a share. You buy it back for $7 a share.
Yeah.
You keep the $3 profit. You give them their stock back. You made $3. But on a wider scale, you're going through that.
So that's basically what happened. And so you got all these dudes on Reddit who I feel like this had to have started as a meme.
Everything kind of does.
Yeah, so I think these people were pissed off because they were all gamers, and they were like, "No, we're gonna start buying GameStop stock to make the price rise," even though the company is not worth what the stock value is right now. I mean, it's crazy that on Wednesday the market had one of its worst days, and GameStop stock was still doing well. So basically, what they started doing was they were saying don't sell, keep buying, making the price rate inflate. So then people the hedge fund dudes were losing a bunch of money
because they were forced to, instead of buying it at that $7 or whatever, now they're forced to buy it at this super high price to get that stock back.
Exactly.
And by my understanding, it got so bad that it was billions of dollars, to the point where the specific hedge fund that it affected the most, that was really into the whole GameStop thing, had to go bankrupt.
Yeah,
was it 70 billion?
And they started. Well,
I thought it was 1.6 billion.
It was funny because they started crying you guys are cheating, you're manipulating the stock market, telling people to buy.
Well, no, that's just how stock works.
Well,
it's the popularity of the stock.
I feel like all these big companies do that all the time.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's nothing different from what they do. They just didn't like it that someone on the outside did it to them.
So let's get into that. So now what it seems like is, to me, it seems like a big change in the times where the people have the power. And we started seeing that, I think social media
leveled the playing field,
going through everything. So you saw that with entertainment, with YouTube and stuff, where it went from the big networks deciding who can say what, or what's going to be good, what's going to be shown, and what the people get to see. And then now people being like, hey, I can just put something out there, and if enough people like it, then it is what it is.
I mean, it's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And so also in the financial world, it always seemed there was this barrier to entry of, you have to be having this much money, and you have to be a part of this hedge fund, or you have to be a part of this, corporation of investors, or whatever it is, that there's this barrier to entry of people knowing the stock market and being able to play.
Yeah.
Right. And now that everyone's able to play with things like Robinhood, I think it's shifted.
So that's my next point is, I know we were cracking jokes and stuff at the beginning, but I would not recommend people to day trade on Robinhood. Me, myself, I'm more of a long-term investor kind of person. If you want to end up wealthy, I think long-term investing is the way to go. Doing this day trading on these penny stocks essentially is kind of a recipe for disaster. essentially at the craps table, like shooting dice, see what happens.
Yeah, and for people who are fine with that, understand what they're doing, and have the money to do so.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the means to do it, but do not quit your job.
Oh, and say, I'm about to sit behind this Robin Hood all day.
No.
So let's be real. What does this change into a lot of other stuff? Because I done got my $3 worth of Doge coin. Have y'all gotten y'all's Doge coins yet?
I don't.
No.
I can't stock.
No.
I can't.
So
stock.
you know what's going on with that. You know what's going on with that. That's another meme stock.
Yeah, that's another.
Where
meme
it's basically like the dog meme, the Doge.
Mm-hmm.
God, yes.
So it's a Doge coin,
right,
and it's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And what they're basically saying is it's a whole page. They're on the Reddits too. They're on all the pages.
Wait.
And they're straight up like hey, we're trying to get this stock up to $1. So it was like at 0.005.
Yeah.
Or it started up maybe at like 0.003 or something.
Right.
And so like I bought my little $3 worth of Dogecoin, and we about to see how this market finna go. We're about to see if, because all y'all pussies finna pull up in a Honda, and y'all gonna see
scared money don't make money.
You gonna see me and my Tezzy off my Dogecoin. So
no, that's not how it works.
It's gonna happen.
It's not how it works.
Now
listen to Zen, not Pablo. In this case.
And here's what I did. If I'm being real, I like to play with Robinhood just to understand how it works.
For sure.
With small amounts of money.
Yeah.
So like I threw $5 into Bitcoin, right?
Right.
And then I made $2 off of that. So then I pulled my $7 out of Bitcoin and then put $3 into Dogecoin and $4 back into Bitcoin. And I'm just seeing how the market, how these small numbers, like what's my return? Okay, so what's going on percentage wise?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just like messing around, seeing how things go.
Very low risk.
It's a
very, very low risk.
But with the people with GameStop, it's a game of musical chairs that's going to end really badly.
Okay. Now, I think it's going to end badly because we can already see.
You're playing GameStop is not worth what the stock price is right now.
But I feel like all that shit's fake at the end of the day. Like, what's really worth what?
That's another thing that, like, when it comes to retail, I think, because I was reading like all these articles, and then they were saying that the game is essentially changing because people are still buying the stock, even though the company's not worth that, and it's not viable. Like, it's not worth what it is.
The company isn't going to meet the criteria
exactly.
which it's selling its stocks.
Yeah.
Or at which their stocks are being sold.
But because people are still buying it,
right?
It's still like I don't know, man. At some point it has to pop. At some point someone has to say, hey, this company's not worth what it is. And when that day comes, if you're still holding on to your shares,
I feel like that happens to a lot of companies.
That happens
to
your face. It's what's going to happen, yeah.
If Amazon claims that they don't make money every year for the sake of taxes, how is their stock always up?
Well, that's different.
Yeah. Is it though? That's the thing, is we're looking at it in different ways because they make their money in other ways.
They know the tax. That's just them knowing the tax code and knowing how to get tax breaks. It's not that they're saying that they don't get.
It's the same reason that Donald Trump pays $750 in his taxes annually.
But that's what I'm saying is I feel like this is all a game and it's all kind of bullshit. It's all like what we make it. So it's just like money in general. If we say it has worth, and it has worth. In the same way with the stock, that if people on Reddit said, hey, we're going to say that this stock has worth.
So they gave it worth.
So we can give whatever we want worth, whatever we choose
worth.
It has worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the end of the day, like the thing is that someone's going to move on to the next thing. And that's the day that it's going to pop.
Right. Because that's just how social media and everything just works. Everything, that's the whole game. It's like there's attention to it, and then it's like, we don't care about that anymore. And then that's when you're saying, the stock's just gonna plummet.
It's gonna dip. And if you're holding to a lot of shares of that, and it's scary because you don't know when it's gonna happen. Like I said, it's a game of hot potato or musical chairs. It's gonna happen when it happens, and hopefully, if you had a lot of money in it, you're not holding it anymore, and you realized your short-term capital gains. And
now,
I salute you for it.
Real quick, though, before we get off of this topic, I just want to close out with wondering, what are we going to do, or what's going to happen with things like now Robinhood being like, oh, wait, we got to put a stop to you guys doing what you guys are doing.
I do not want to be Robinhood right now because they're going to... It's crazy what they did because they restricted trades on the GameStop stock because other hedge fund dudes were crying about it. So I don't know, man.
Because I know they can try to say it was stock manipulation on the Reddit users, but then you're manipulating the stock.
Exactly. So then the SEC was like trying to regulate, trying to figure out what's going on, and basically they couldn't. from what I've read so far is that they can't say it was manipulation of the stock market yet.
It wasn't.
Because exactly. So like
according to the rules, if we're playing by the rule book here, it's not manipulation of the stock. If it's a popular stock, no matter where it's popular from, and nowadays it's gonna get popular like it did from social media.
It's not that. It was just them saying that like, because basically it goes all back to the Reddit thing.
Right. So
they were saying that the Reddit guys were the ones manipulating the stock market by telling people to buy. But yeah, so like. But at the same time, it just feels like it's not any different from what they do.
At this point, it defeats the entire purpose of, like Zen and I were talking about this yesterday. It defeats Robin Hood's purpose of like,
giving power to the people,
power to the people.
Yeah.
And
but they got at the end of the day, bro. These big companies they're gonna look out for their own pocketbooks. And I think with Robin Hood, it was more like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't.
Yeah, no, this was fucked on all scales for them.
They were it was a lose-lose for them.
But now, I mean, it just goes to show that now the people have power. Yeah. We are now Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is what it is.
Here's the thing, though, for Robin Hood, though, is like, who do they want to battle? It's like, do they want to battle the individual or do they want to take on the hedge funds that can like sue them? So I think they try to play it safe and try to like, because they were like all these people. I guess in my head, the way they thought about it is like, we'd rather screw up the individual than the big companies because we're more afraid of like the big hedge funds.
Which is crazy because now I think this is the start of the revolution. Social media is leaving no stone unturned, and I think that the stock market, it's actually crazy to see how many more people are trying to understand the stock market since this happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so many people being like, I never really understood, but now I'm getting this. And
a lot of people started
it's almost like I think this is going to be a turning point.
Yeah.
Kind of like of what Trump did for politics, where everyone had to get into politics.
Because
I think this is going to be something where everyone has to get into finance and
But
stocks.
here's another thing. Another time where people were starting to realize, like, I got to pay attention to my stocks and so on and so forth, was the beginning of Corona. The stocks dropped. People were losing a lot of money because they just had these things that were just sitting there, right? And it was like, oh, it's making me a steady amount of money. But when they had like airlines,
I saw it at work.
Really? Because you're an economist.
I'm not an economist. I work at a financial call center. Don't even put that on me. Well, I don't work there anymore. My last day was Friday.
Shouts out.
Anyway, I quit for the podcast, JK. No, I didn't.
That'd be dope.
Basically, all these people started calling in, cashing in their 401ks, cashing in their 403bs, like their retirement accounts.
Right.
It was a really sad time because, like, it's all about like risk, and when it comes to like retirement.
Yeah.
So someone like us can handle a lot of risk because we have a lot of years before that. We can make that money up. We can wait for the market to correct and to like for those accounts to make that money back.
Yeah.
But when you're already like 50 something, 60 something and up, like you're freaking the heck out. So, and that's what I saw. Like people were freaking out. People were cashing in their entire retirements, not realizing that if they weren't 59 and a half, like this is a huge tax hit that's going to happen. Yeah. And I mean, it was crazy. It was sad, but I mean, yeah.
With everything being said from before, I do want to get into a few things about the city.
Yeah.
So it's been seeming to be a big thing in sports in general, just what's going on with the Texans and Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. So
I'm stressed out.
So like the best quarterback we've had in a long time, someone who's actually promising and seems like they have potential to make us a good team, which has been really difficult for us in the past as of recent times for as long as we can remember. And it's interesting about this because when he came in as a rookie, we all knew he was good and he was doing stuff that really like blew us away. Mm-hmm. But we did have bad coaching and bad management overall in the organization that really hindered his ability to shine, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With that being said, now I think he's realized his leverage. He's realized how much he's worth because when you start looking at the new faces of quarterbacks, you're looking at Mahomes and you're looking at Watson. Those are the people that you're actually seeing out here being like, those are the new ones. Those are the ones that are going to come out and be powerhouses in the future.
Yeah.
So I think he knows that. He understands that he is, has the potential to be one of the greats coming up.
Right.
And he is using his leverage in this organization to be like, hey, want to change shit around here because this affects my legacy as a quarterback if y'all are putting me in these terrible positions. And I think that I want to be a part of the team that helps pick who's going to be coaching and running this team from here on out. They got a head coach that I guess Deshaun didn't agree with because because I guess they apparently didn't include him in the decision making and thought that he would like that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So he did his protests by, wearing his shirts, feeling whatever he felt like he needed to do to show the organization.
What particular did he do for those of them that don't know, like me?
I want to say I definitely saw a shirt that he was saying like fire such and such. I don't even remember the name of the previous head coach that they had originally hired.
Right.
But basically like he would be seen wearing pictures basically saying what he feels to fire the people that he didn't agree with being put in those positions.
Right.
Now I think he actually was able, I think they even switched the head coach because he managed to use his leverage, but now there's still all these reports that he wants out. And I don't know how true all those reports are. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the information of what about him wanting to leave comes from, but what I have seen is the head coach say, Deshaun Watson's a Texan. I want him to be a Texan, and I'm here because he's going to be a Texan, and everything else aside from that, I don't care about. Like, basically everything else that the media is saying or whatever, I don't care. What I know is that he's going to be a Texan, which is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are hoping.
Now, the thing about it is, are we giving him too much power?
No.
Are we making it like to where he can
Are we putting all our eggs in one basket, basically?
Yeah, are we making it to like where everything is about Deshaun and whatever Deshaun wants is what Deshaun gets? Because even Watt being like kind of like the lead people, I don't even see him having the kind of, I wouldn't say having the kind of leverage, but using the kind of leverage that Deshaun is. Like, I do think Deshaun deserves to be able to like have a seat at the table and be able to talk about things when it comes to the organization. But I've also known the Texans in the past to not give a fuck about even their best players.
Yeah.
We've seen that with Hopkins.
Andre Johnson.
We've seen that with Andre Johnson. We've seen that with a lot of our great players who have left and then gone to do great things other places. And I honestly think they know that they have that history of having players go and do great things somewhere else. And they 100% know that if Deshaun leaves, he is going to go and dominate wherever else.
For sure.
And then the Texans will have to look at their mistake and be like, this was 100% us.
Yeah. But the thing that's crazy is we've had a lot of players that have been treated like shit at like with the Texans, right? And then, but they still have that like undying appreciation for the Texans and then that undying love, like Andre Johnson.
Well, I don't think it's for the Texans. I think it's more for the city. Yeah,
I think it's for the city.
It's for the city that embraced them.
Like we talked about, I believe last week, one of these weeks.
I think it was on our
Houston. Has a lot of appreciation for its people, for its artists, for its sports players. That in return, like they show a lot of love for the city because they're like, okay, like you guys show love, I'm going to show love back. But also, if we think that they did the city wrong, we do come out with a vengeance already. I already saw there was like, with all the stuff with Harden, Harden leaving.
Yeah. Did he wear a fat suit, bro?
I have no idea.
I think he wore a fat suit because if you look at his last game with the Rockets, he was looking mad thick, like 4C's thick.
Yeah?
Thick, bro.
Like,
and
he
then
was looking pretty big.
Yeah, and then like first game coming out to the Nets, he looked like normal.
So do you think he wore a fat suit?
Maybe
to make it look like
he just didn't care.
Pressure?
And then like you had all these stories coming out that he was like at strip clubs or like partying and like not following COVID guidelines.
He is very like that he is known to be that type, to be a party animal, to want to go to the clubs, to go and bless some of the local exotic dancers. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say like he's just chasing rappers. And do you think that's a big part of why he wants to go to New York?
Maybe.
But New York's like
possible.
But he's like, I feel like he's also ring chasing. But I mean, whatever, man. Like, do you like
whatever's best for his career?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like he's gotta watch out, like look out for himself. If he thinks this is gonna put him to the next level, then cool.
It just seemed like he didn't want to leave with grace from the city. And I honestly think, I mean, if it comes to organizations, and I think that's what it is, like, you know, you have the Astros too. You have
we lost Springer.
Springer. It was like,
I know. I heard about that, and I was like, oh man,
how many women's hearts dropped?
Yeah, that's not Rona. I'm just the cat came in here earlier, and yeah,
because like, can we talk about like,
oh my god,
when it comes to like Astros players?
Yeah, well, it's him and Bregman that get like
Springer is fine. Okay,
yeah,
he's got like the jawline. He's got like that charm that when you look at him, you're like
you melt a little.
You melt a little bit, but then he's so athletic that you're like, whoo.
And Zen's got a full stiffy right now. I can see it.
Yeah.
Stiffed up.
Whoa.
But
all right,
came up in the club with
a full erection. Okay, and now it just sucks to see. You know, I mean, with Springer being gone, women are gonna stop watching baseball. That is what it is.
That's not true.
Okay. They're not watching.
My fiance is actually the one that got me into baseball. I hated baseball.
I had been fucking with it, not gonna lie, since we started winning. We were sucking so bad, and I was like, I had been to a lot of games and watched when I was younger. And
no, she's a diehard. Like even when they were trash, like she was a diehard.
Yeah, I think.
But we still have Springer. She still had that eye candy now that our boy is gone.
Yeah,
I think baseball is like one of the only sports that I really like follow and like actually like.
I love that it's America's pastime, and it's in the American nature. It's played by a bunch of Hispanics.
Yeah. It's fun to go to. I love eating me I love getting me
It's the American way.
That is the American way, getting the minorities to do everything.
Best believe though, I love going to the ballpark, fucking up a baseball park glizzy.
Yo,
glizzy in mouth.
All right.
$2 hot dogs on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Hitting up Torchies at Minute Maid. Yo, Minute Maid is an awesome park. I love Minute Maid.
I would see
Minute Maid's dope. It's just mad expensive out there.
Oh no, for sure. You're gonna spend some bands, but
yeah. But especially when the Astros were doing bad, you could get yourself some mad cheap tickets way up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then just spend all your money on food and
I would see you when we're at games eating a hot dog and like out of the side of your eyes, like just staring at Springer. You're just like
trying to make eye contact.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, dude, it sucks. We're losing a lot of superstars. I think like hopefully we'll be fine, but it sucks.
I think
it's about time to restructure it all. You know, we're gonna have to start being on the NRG field protesting. You know that we need to reform the system.
Defund the
Occupy NRG.
Yeah, no more player brutality.
Yeah.
You know, we can't be having this kind of we can't have any more of this organization brutality anymore.
Yeah, defund the organization.
Defund the organization, power to the people, free Robin Hood and
free Robin Hood.
Free GameStop, free AMC.
Hey, buy Blockbuster stock.
Real talk, get your Dogecoin. One thing that I wanted to talk about, you know, I'm going to close this out with saying, like, I hope that we get make all of our superstars happy, but also make sure that, like, my biggest problem with that all is I don't want it to always be like a star mentality. I love a star that cares about the team, and not a star who's like, this is about me, and you build this whole thing around me. I like when people are self-aware and look, and they're like, hey, we don't make this team. I don't make this team, especially like football's a big sport that you need the whole team.
Yeah.
And you need to be like, hey, these people
can't throw the ball to yourself.
Yeah, we need to
Brady
structure this. We need to now. Bro, we had to finish up with that. So in closing, Super Bowl coming up.
Right.
All right. Yep. And so by my understanding, I think it's the Bucks versus the Chiefs.
No, dog.
The Bucks versus the Chiefs.
No, it's Tom Brady versus the Chiefs, boys.
It's what it is.
So
it's what it
is. Okay. And
dog, Mahomes was like 3 years old when Brady won his first Super Bowl.
That's crazy as a matchup to see now.
Yes.
Now, can we now say that that Brady is just the greatest of all time as far as quarterbacks?
Yep, he's not human.
And it's not that, and he's not just a system quarterback now, because that was the biggest thing. They, of course, said him and Belichick were the powerhouse team together.
Right.
So now...
But he just proved that he doesn't need Belichick, and Belichick's over there doing fucking Subway commercials.
Yeah, so I don't know what the Patriots was doing this year.
Yo.
I didn't really hear that name too much. I definitely heard Tom Brady's name.
And first ever football team in history to play the Super Bowl at their home stadium.
That's going to be wild because you got a bunch of Floridians out there just being Floridians.
Yo, Florida is something else. Remember I sent you that thing where for the Heat, they wanted to have like people in the stands and they were going to have like COVID sniffing dogs?
Yeah.
Florida is not a real place, dog.
So I'm really curious to see how it's going to be with Florida. Florida's out there.
They're going to burn the city to the ground. Yeah.
You know?
If they win, bro,
if they win, they getting rid of all the COVID.
Yeah.
Because all the COVID's going to be just chilling, concentrated there, and then they're going to burn it all down, burn all the COVID away.
Yep.
Honestly,
if
can we hold on, can we just as like a unit, as a society say, hey, if you have COVID, go to the Super Bowl. Just let them all go.
Stop.
Just let them all go. Canceled. Just let them all go. Just, breathe in all those COVID fumes together. And then just close the bowl and then that's it. Just leave them in there. Let them deal with it.
But then Brady's going to get COVID.
No, we sneak him out the back after.
Okay. Dude, Brady's a fucking superhero. Something. He's a god. I don't know what the hell he is, man.
It's
He's not a human, I'll tell you
crazy.
that.
It's insane.
He's like he's like the athletic equivalent of like an Elon Musk.
Yeah. So like, what do you think's going to win though? Do you think it's so like Mahomes has the age on him and he's got like that's like his big thing is he's younger, but is
Brady always seems to have something in his back pocket.
Exactly. So is it I think what's going to come down to it is Brady's like he's been there more times. Like the experience is I think it's what's going to carry him to that victory.
He's kind of like, all right, I've done a million of these.
Yeah. But I also want to see the Chiefs go back to back. Like that'd be cool. I don't know, man. I'm just excited to see like good football.
I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to see Brady in his element. Mm-hmm. And it's wild to me because before, I mean, Patriots were just such a rival of like the Texans because they would always beat us every fucking time. So as much as like I would see his greatness at the back of my head, I'm still like on that like, man, fuck the Patriots. But at the same time, I'm also like, I can't like, I can't.
It's like hating on Jordan in his like
exactly.
peak. Yeah.
But now that he's kind of moved away from that, and I just get to appreciate Brady as a player, seeing him go elsewhere and experience him do what he's doing, I have just a lot more respect where I'm just like, all right, whatever, like whatever he's done, regardless, like he's the GOAT. And we got to just
he's the Michael Jordan of football.
It's wild.
We can confidently
it's
say
just
that.
like he's just really good at his job. But with that being said, I wanted to like we're gonna close that out. I'm excited to see it. We're gonna report back and just see what ends up happening. One more thing, wrapping up sports. Did y'all watch that McGregor?
Dude.
He got dusted.
He did get dusted. I was watching that.
Yep.
I feel bad for him.
I honestly was like,
like end the fight, bro. Like
now.
Yeah. That was bad.
I was watching this at a socially distanced facility.
Shut the fuck
weren't.
up.
I saw you. You were at B-dubs.
I'm not gonna lie. I was out there. I don't give a fuck. I'm immune. But just kidding.
Why are we in here?
Yo, real talk.
Why are we in here with him?
Be real?
We don't have masks on.
I didn't know.
God.
I didn't know that I'm like on the earlier list to get the vaccine.
Why?
Because my job is life safety.
Oh shit.
So I'm like I'm not a first responder, but I'm like right behind that shit almost.
He's a fucking firefighter, dude.
Gonna catch me vaxxed.
We got a firefighter. We got an economist.
Oh my god.
I do code. I'm a coder.
I thought you were gonna say you were an actor.
Well, I'm a little bit of everything, man. I'm also,
But so yes, at the social distance facility we were watching, and it's interesting to see when the fight started. I mean, I'm going in there just believing, right? Like everyone wants to see McGregor and all this kind of stuff,
right?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that seem to have mainly been there for Dustin was insane. Like the cheers of hearing, like when he comes out, hearing the cheers, and I was like, wait, I didn't hear any of these cheers from McGregor. What's going on? Like,
well, kind of McGregor fell from grace.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Very hard.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the pre-fight tape, and I couldn't really hear with all the people socially distancing around me. I was listening, and it seemed like he was out here being like, I'm going to end this in 60 seconds. I'm going to be 2-0 against him. I'm going to go out and show that, this, that, and the third. And he's just going off about what he's going to do. When I see the first round come in and I'm seeing him come out, and he doesn't even seem to be coming out as strong. He seems to be a little more hesitant. Like, he seems to be a little more like, let's see what's going on. Let's see what he's working with, as opposed to coming out and being like, I'm just going to dominate.
As usual.
When I saw Dustin take him down in the first round,
were you surprised?
I was like, okay, I'm seeing him struggle. I'm seeing him being like, what the fuck can I do now? Like, trying to think of like, what's my next step here?
Right.
And really seeing him be like, okay, there, that 60-second shit's out the window. And I'm like, now this really is going to change this up, because I'm thinking he's going to come in, do the work, and get the fuck out. And now I'm seeing like, okay, he's going to really have to work on this.
Yeah.
Second round is when this knockout comes, and you see him trying to, Weasel's way, trying to understand what he's doing. And when he comes at him and gets him out, and I see the whole place just go wild, I'm like, the energy of seeing like that end of the way that it did
Rona G.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting. I just want to also point out, by the way, it was outdoor and it was pretty socially distant, but
it was not. You're fucking lying.
For real, was outdoors.
No, we're just
mostly socially distant. I try my best to stay as safe as possible, but
get a load of this guy. He's stalling on the podcast. We're not supposed to be distributing fake news, asshole.
I am distributing the fakest of news. Don't listen to me.
That's all we're here for.
And but it was electric, and I was like, whoa, it's wild to see the change in what even the people want. People want to see someone else come out and be the next top.
Yeah.
But with that also being said, if you looked at some of the previous cards, I didn't really know who this Michael Chandler person was. But apparently he made his UFC debut like on like one of the undercards there, or like on the main card, but one of the previous fights.
Did he kill?
Demolished. So I don't know if he had come from like a different type of like MMA organization or something like that.
Probably.
But this was his
Bellator.
UFC debut. And he was like, everyone was looking at him because he's like a super pretty boy. And people are like, okay, let's see what this pretty boy is going to do. They brought in here the new industry, child that everyone's wanting to see. And he came through and demolished.
Was he like
so much so, I don't even remember who he fought, because I don't know too much about UFC. But I don't even know who he fought, because that person didn't leave an impression on me. But this person did. Beautiful. I don't know. Look it up.
Did you see
Michael Chandler?
Did you see your boy talking Mad Mess McGregor afterwards?
Jake Paul?
Yeah.
I had heard that it was supposed to be like, I don't know how many million, like $50 million, and he brought it down to like, I'll do 150K, or like, I'll do 500K. Like, he brought his price down. I knew. I didn't see a lot of it, but I knew that when I'm not going to lie, a big part of the reason why I wanted to see that fight was because I wanted to see how McGregor was looking physically, and to see how that could translate if he did fight Jake Paul. Seeing like, is this going to be is this going to be something Jake Paul's worried about? Seeing that and be like, you sure about that, Jake Paul? You saw how he beat the fuck out of, But then seeing that, it's kind of like, fuck. Like,
and this almost makes Jake
Paul's case even stronger. And I don't know if McGregor's in the place where he wants to like even get into that kind of stuff. Like, if he's like, look, I have the money I need. I'm in the place where I'm chilling. Like, I don't need to deal with this bullshit. Because he hasn't even been responding mad reckless to Jake Paul.
Wife a thorn.
And he didn't even really like trip on it.
Really?
Which usually like that's McGregor's shit. He's like, you want to shit talk? We can shit talk.
Yeah. Well, that's when he had the skill to back up.
But is it that he doesn't have the skill, or is it that he's at a place where he doesn't?
I think mentally he's like if
he
doesn't need it.
He's not as hungry.
Yeah. So like he, like I feel like watching like the MJ documentary.
Yeah.
The Last Dance, like how that thing came to a meme where like when people would be like, and then Michael took that personally, and like that whole thing turned into a meme. So like I think like MJ used to find things like, even if you'd like make it up himself, to like fuel him and make him. So I think McGregor just doesn't have that, maybe.
Well, so because he's kind of like, look, I have more money than all of you guys. Yeah. I have more endorsements than all of you guys. I have more side businesses to where if I never fought again, it
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like I don't where's the hunger? Where's the drive? Like, what am I trying to achieve? Exactly. I did like
he's
dominate.
got nothing to prove to anyone.
So what am I trying to dominate again and just show that I can keep on and keep? At what point is it enough?
Yeah.
Before you're just like, all right, I'm gonna chill, like, be there for my family with all this money that I have now. Like, at what point are you kind of like, I'm good?
Because at that point he's getting older. He's just dancing with the devil. That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
and so that's another thing with like, I don't know why these fighters get so like caught up in like fighting like the old OGs, like Ryan Garcia, the boxer.
Right.
He's like, you know how I got announced that he's probably gonna be fighting Pacquiao,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, but why, bro? Like, you're like a up and coming guy. If anything, you should be trying to like fight Canelo or something. But like Pacquiao's like old, bro. Like,
it's a look. So what it is it
like a rite of passage and
kind of you get all the old fans that are like want to see anytime a Pacquiao fight comes out, they're gonna see it. So then that introduces them to the new guy.
Yeah,
and then that solidifies that guy. The thing about it for me is that makes all the sense in the world for the up and coming guy.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, for Pacquiao to be like,
I'm gonna risk my legacy at any rate to like promo and introduce this guy to like the entire boxing world, because I don't really know Ryan Garcia as like I'm not like a real in deep boxing or UFC fan.
Yeah.
But I do like to watch people beat the fuck out of each other. That's fun.
That's just hilarious.
The reason I just saw like Ryan Garcia in like those like sport pages where he was just like sparring, and dude looks mad terrifying.
Really?
Like his punches are fast and like, dude, yeah, I'd be scared to fight that guy.
I'm curious to see, like, for one, I'm really curious to see this Logan Mayweather fight. I want to see how that pans out. And yeah, I mean, I think I might start getting into these fights, dog. Best believe you might catch me in the ring one day. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Catch me in the ring. I mean, like, real talk, Canelo, I'm calling you out.
Who?
Y'all heard it right here. November 22nd.
Y'all heard it right here first.
Versus Zen. There you go, boys.
He said.
I have just a few more things that I want to touch on before we wrap up. Boys, are we about to start getting paid?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I think
maybe when the bag looks right.
Now, $15 an hour minimum wage is what is being proposed by Sir President Biden.
Okay, Adam, tell us about it.
What do you mean?
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Dude, I don't know. Like,
what's your opinion?
I don't. Now, can we be real? There's been so much inflation going on over time.
Yeah.
And the minimum wage never raised to reflect it. And same thing with like everything went up. The price of school went up.
Right.
Yeah.
The price of just living and everything went up, and the minimum wage never went up. So now when we're saying that the minimum wage is going to get up to match it,
it's a state thing though. Every state has a different minimum wage.
But if this is a federal one.
But if this is a federal one, I mean,
because that's what they said. This is supposed to be a federal minimum wage.
It's good and bad because you're so like, all right, let's say you make minimum wage, you start getting a little bit more money. Local businesses around you're going to notice, oh, people got a little bit more money in their pocket. We can raise our prices, and so you're kind of back where you started.
Yeah, exactly. And so
now
it's a consequential thing. It's gonna be the minimum wage is gonna raise to $15. And then these businesses that have no choice but to
raise their prices, rent's gonna go up.
Minimally pay their employees $15 an hour, right? So then you're dealing with, okay, well, fuck, like I can't afford this guy. I'm paying him $15 an hour to do this. Now I either have to start charging more or employing less people. Then either the unemployment rate rises or the inflation rate rises more than it's already.
So I feel like this is a problem that stemmed from where this started. Should we not have been gradually bringing the minimum wage up as time went on to match this? Because now we're trying to overcorrect, and that's going to fuck up the whole system. Because what they're saying is the argument is that it hasn't been raised to match everything else that already inflated. So we are putting it to this to match that. Mm-hmm. But then you're just going to cause, of course, more inflation, like you said.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Right.
My biggest fear isn't even as much inflation from the big companies, because I honestly think with all the money they make.
Well, I'm worried about the little
That's
companies.
what I'm worried about. Local businesses who are just trying to get started and now have to pay someone $15 an hour. That's like wild. So like you're saying, they're going to have to definitely be like, all right, you know what? If I'm paying you $15 an hour, I'm sorry, but like
you're not getting benefits,
day.
or like you're
Like-
not going to work every day.
No, like we're gonna have to just hire you. You have to hire less people. You're gonna have to work more hours, more money, sure, but more responsibility. It's gonna be a lot
Right.
more on you. You're gonna have to do the job of multiple people because I can only afford.
But also, do they classify them as full time or part time? Because if they're full time, then they would have they're having to look at like, all right, do we have to pay health insurance? Like this,
Yeah,
and
Right,
that's
exactly.
and that's where
yeah,
I think
that's
a lot
another
of it.
expense too.
Yeah.
So, what do we think? Like, what do we recommend
I would say that we
as the best way to go around about
you're-
this?
Well, what's the minimum wage right now? $7.25.
Well, it's a state thing. So every state has a different minimum wage.
Right now in Texas, it's $7.25.
$7.25 here in
So
Texas.
in Texas, it's $7.25, and you make the federal minimum wage, $15 an hour. You're doubling. You're
Plus
more,
2 quarters.
Plus 2 quarters. The current Texas minimum wage. Therefore, that's going to really fuck up the Texas economy, because. And
Is it though? Because how many? I mean, there's certain things, but
here's another.
how many
here's the
people are really
solution, though.
getting paid minimum wage? I think a lot of places nowadays are honestly going more
so
than
like,
you can
if
work
you-
at McDonald's and start working getting like 9.
Here's the thing, or you could work at HEB. HEB pays you well.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
pay you at least like 13 out the gate.
Yeah, and so then that's another thing, bro. Because so you got a company like HEB that's already quote unquote paying you more than the minimum wage,
Right.
and then they have to start everyone off at 15. How is that going to balance out the people they already had in their system?
Right.
That's what I wonder. So if someone was if they started you off at 13, this is an example. I don't know their exact numbers, but if they started you off at 13,
I know somebody who works at HEB gets paid 15.
and then somebody who happens to be making 15, when they make that minimum wage 15, does it now like, oh, we all make the same, or do they have to be like,
Well,
you
that's
make 13 and now you make 18?
So now,
Right.
do they raise everybody else? That's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah,
Exactly. So there's so many questions you have to ask before even discussing the actual passing of the bill to make, whatever, right?
Listen, I'm all for people making what they
Deserve.
a good wage, something you can live off of.
Right.
Because
Because you can't live off of $7.25 anymore.
No,
It's just
you
not
can't. It's not possible. But I think that's more of, and I don't know, man. Like, because if you say leave it up to the businesses, they're not going to do it because they're trying to make money. So it's hard, man. I don't know. I don't think I have an answer for that.
Here's another
and
thing.
I don't know if anyone really does. I guess it's
A lot of people don't want to hear this, but I think the only solution to raising the minimum wage is keeping everything the same price but increasing taxes.
Nah, that's go ahead and start raising taxes. You gonna raise the motherfucking rioters,
You
the
heard
Capitol
it here.
Hillers.
You heard it here first.
I'm just saying, dog. Raising the taxes, and people are raising their pitchforks, or in a lot of cases of white kids, their tiki torches. Okay, so you really want tiki lamps?
Tiki torches and puka shell necklaces is what the wave's going to be when
It's what the wave is going to be, and you're gonna see a lot more people. We moving to Mexico, dog. Real talk. Let's go.
I was looking back at that conversation we had, and I realized my own privilege, because not everyone would have it as good or easy if they went back to Mexico.
Yeah. Most people like, isn't it crazy? Like,
Yeah.
when they were just talking about 21 Savage, when they were like, he was from the UK
Yeah.
and they were trying to like saying they were going to deport him back. It's like, to where? Like, you have no place to go back to.
Yeah.
You don't know that area or like even had anyone that lived there. You just like were there and came over here.
21.
Yeah.
Also, I saw his sneaker shopping episode with Joe LaPuma, and he was dry.
He always is though, but that's the way I think like he has that kind of personality when he talks.
I think he's just boring.
You
like
think
as
so?
a person, but as an artist, I think he's interesting. But like like him just being himself is like, he's just a regular dude.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed it to a degree.
Mhm.
I've definitely seen way worse that make me feel like I will watch.
You either have the guy that's trying too hard, or like,
I guess, but for me, and I'm gonna just say it, and it just is what it is.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
But I will watch the 21 Savage episode 15 times before I watch the Kamala Harris episode again.
I didn't see that. I don't even pay attention to sneaker shopping shit anymore, dude. I don't
Like
even
that
care.
shit was just she was promoting. It was just a lot of propaganda. They were promoting like this vote shoe, and that's the only shoe she bought on sneaker
Yeah,
shopping.
what an idiot.
And like just talked about like it was just the stupid shit because it was right around the time where she wore like those ugly Tims that aren't the real Tims, and then they try to say that she's bringing Tims back to New York. So it's like
Tim's never left New York.
Yeah, but apparently, I guess they did until Kamala came around. So there's just a lot of shit where I'm just like, this stuff is corny, and I don't want to see this in this space. Like, I get it, I get what they're trying to do, but like, I'm not here for it.
Right.
So I will watch 21 Savage 15 times before I watch Kamala do that shit again.
My favorite episode though is Hasan Minhaj.
A pretty good episode.
Yeah, I like when he was like, "What's the return policy?"
Yeah. An interesting episode. Jack Harlow did a really good one because he had Drewski Too Funny come and like pop in at the end and do like basically a skit. Like, like basically hijack the episode, and nobody on the like recording.
No one knew that was happening.
Knew that was going to happen, or knew that was happening. So those things, I think those are cool and those are interesting. I mean, there's a lot of they've been doing a lot of cool stuff since then. They've really been growing.
All I'm saying is, Complex hire us. We're
yeah, real talk. We'll start a show.
We'll start a show. Yeah.
But with that being said, I just want to thank anybody who listened. And
for sure,
we're going to be back next week. We got more things coming at you. We also now run Wall Street, El Cucuido Wall Street, AKAs. And that is what it is.
It is.
And we're going to see y'all next time.
Yep.
See you next
time. So with that being said,
we out here.
Goodbye. We out of here.